So everyone saw the news that happened yesterday, and when I saw the video, it made me physically ill. Nobody should ever be murdered or killed for just having a different opinion. And as much as I disagreed with Charlie about Israel, he was still a really nice guy to me, and I would never want him hurt for having a different opinion. I have a wife and I have kids, and my heart breaks for him and goes out to them. It still feels heavy and disgusting. Charlie, and I've been looking into this since the news broke because I didn't really pay much attention to what he was saying, but it seems like he really started to change his tune on Israel and was starting to ask some bigger questions, which was awesome to see. But you go from being a gatekeeper for Israel to all of a sudden you're a liability, because if he wakes up and starts to wake other people up to Israel, it's just going to accelerate things. So I think they took him out in broad daylight to make a statement to all the other influencers who, kissed the wall in Israel and kind of made that deal. What most people don't understand is being like an influencer with a lot of power comes the negative polarity that wants to feed on that. And I never quite made it all the way up in the ranks. I was heading that way, for real, I was. And I got bad gut feeling about it, which is one of the reasons why I walked away from it all. But you get to that much influence, like Charlie was, and they sit you down in a room and they tell you how it's going to be, what you're allowed to say, what you're not allowed to say, and what the repercussions may be for you or your family, your loved ones. And so I have nothing but the most utmost respect for Charlie. I think he went out as a legend, because I saw what he was saying there towards the end, starting to really question Israel and making other people question it. So I'm hoping that his death becomes a catalyst for something positive, or more noticing what's going on. That's ultimately why I walked away in 2020. I noticed too many things and realized this is not a safe environment. You could not say anything bad about Israel or the Jews on Twitter when I was still there in 2020. Couldn't say anything bad about vaccines or anything on Twitter for that fact. But now it's starting to become everywhere. And you know what? It's good. The truth needs to come out. All of it. It has to come out. But yeah, I just wanted to make this quick video. Like I said, Charlie was a nice guy to me. Really nice guy. And yeah, my heart hurts, man. My heart hurts. Anyways, yeah, and I look into the future a little bit too. Like, the energy is just so heavy. What's going to happen as they continue to print more money here and inflation starts going up crazier, and then put AI in the picture, taking jobs with an unemployment rate that keeps spiking. It's a recipe for having people with nothing to lose that can be controlled by negative emotions, and which puts me into I wouldn't want to be living in cities. It's very dangerous, but maybe that's a little too far down the line, but it's the way my brain thinks. And ultimately, at the end of the day, nobody's making it out alive here on this earth. All we can do is try to be our best, live our best life and be a positive source of light and energy for the collective, as the collective slowly begins to wake up. And sometimes it takes a lot of suffering, and it might take a lot of suffering before the collective turns inward and starts to reflect on what it really means to be human and what we're doing here and what God is. And I'll be here in the background, enjoying my life, trying to stay present and positive. And if God calls me for something bigger in the future, I'll answer that call too. But for now, I'm straight chilling. Peace and love.